Good morning, Andrea.
Morning, Massimo. Afternoon to the other persons in the Asia Pacific areas. And thank you. I see also some friends connecting. Thank you for participating. This is a new webinar, new topic. This is our first time with Massimo that are introducing this kind of solution. I think we will get a lot of questions from you, probably.
A new argument today.
New argument, yeah. And what we want to remind you that the chat box is disabled, so you have to use your Q&A button you see on the bar, and you can make your question. And we try to answer live during the webinar at the end. So we try to take the time. So if you have any questions, so maybe you can write over there. And, let's go on that way. So we want to wait maybe another 1 minute because I see that there are people connecting, and then we go straight on the topic. Okay, we can go right now. So this is the topic: HART Protocol Multiplexer Solution for Process Applications. And first, we want to remind you and introduce ourselves. My name is Andrea Spalora. I'm a global account manager in GMI. I'm supporting the main customer all over the world. I'm also responsible for European market, and I'm a functional safety engineer. But the most important person we have today is Massimo, because Massimo is our product manager and also responsible for customer support. So he can be the right person for, say, if you have any technical things beside also HART is the person you can refer within GMI organization. He's managing support through his team, and also is our product manager. He's also functional safety engineer. Okay, so a few words about the company. Maybe you know, maybe not. GMI is producing intrinsically safe and certified devices for main packages, for main critical application: oil and gas, chemical, petrochemical, mining, food. We have a more than 40 years experience. We were also the former Elcon Instruments company. We produce completely in Europe, in Milan, Italy, but also we do have a presence in all 5 continents. About production, we produce, we have complete traceability, state-of-the-art technology, complete testing of all products, fully automatized production, Russia REACH compliant. Some words about what we produce: intrinsically safe barriers or isolators, safety relays, isolators for non-AS application, but seal rated power supply, multiplexer for temperature applications, temperature modules, termination boards for main DCS and PLC manufacturers for connecting easily, HART Multiplexer, which is the topic of today, surge protection indicator, and also the last bullet is regarding our services like trainings for functional safety and EX. That is about our organization in the world, 10 offices all over the world, different distributors to other people's, functional safety courses, and also number of installation that we are doing all over the world. Some names regarding our customer divided by system vendors, EPC, OEMs, and end users. You may see, I think, some of your customers, maybe also you belong to one of those customers. So the presentation today is divided by chapter. So what is HART? GMI HART solution, application for NDCS, PLC, market comparison, and software. After this presentation, there will be also another presentation. So it will take, I think, no more than 1 hour, don't worry. Regarding this, we, let's say, try to concentrate the question in other slides. So now I leave Massimo to
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for your introduction, and welcome to our webinar attendees also from my side. Well, let me introduce in briefly what is HART protocol and which are the GMI HART solution from process industry. Before understanding how our multiplexer works, let's start by introducing the HART protocol topic. But what is HART and why is widely used in the process industry? Developed in the mid of 1980s by Rosemont, HART is an intelligent technology that supports the simultaneous transmission of analog and digital signals on the same pair of wires. HART is a protocol based on the question and answer mechanism designed to be compatible with traditional 4 to 20 milliamps analog channels. Communication starts from the master to the slave. There can be up to master connect on each HART loop, while the slave are typically field devices such as sensors, actuators, and the controllers that answer questions. The application that exploit this technology allow remote interrogation of process variables, cyclical access to data, calibration, access to operating parameters, and instrument diagnosis. Devices with HART type communication superimpose an electrical signal on the analog signal, with which they can be monitored and programmed depending on the manufacturer and the interface system. The HART protocol, also defined as open, does not allow complete communication of all available parameters with any instruments, but requires the presence of the drivers for the device in question. But what are the advantages that HART brings to the world of industrial process? From the examination of the characteristic of the HART industrial communication protocol, it's not difficult to understand the advantages introduced, which can be summarized in the following points. First of all, signal reliability. All to process and diagnostic data travel simultaneously on the same physical medium. The technology on which the HART protocol is based avoids any type of interference, ensuring robust and structured communication. Through a simple configuration, it's possible to obtain and collect a wide range of new process data in order to increase the remote diagnostics capabilities of the system and monitoring of the single device, together with the reliability of the signal and the absence of interference. Another point is remote diagnostics. The availability of information regarding the status of the device makes it possible to remotely monitor opening scenarios such as maintenance 4.0. And the last but not least, remote configuration. Bidirectional communication with the control units make it possible to parameterize the device without the need to be on the machine, thus being able to perform this activity even remotely. This entails a net reduction in commissioning and setup times, thus increasing business continuously. Not in all cases, the traditional HART device fully exploit their potential, but in the new generation ones, access to data is easier. This makes it possible to simplify the remote configuration, commissioning, and interrogation of the devices. In order to integrate the measurements provided by our device into a control system, it's possible to implement a point-to-point connection of the 420 milliamp signals, or a connection via remote I/O modules or HART multiplexer. The HART protocol represents an intermediate step in the transmission from analog to digital communication. The HART multiplexer is the best solution for gathering all HART data into a single point software. Now, GMI HART Multiplexer convey all HART information of devices connected and transmit data to a PC where an HART management software is installed. The communication takes place through ARS 485 serial communication. This simple connection is made through a dedicated termination board where also the multiplexer is installed. GEM International is particularly open to HART communication, starting with the Multiplexer 5700 and an HART seal-free interface system that reduces the number of modules required for the application. Thanks to the management of up to 256 channels per card, with communication speed up to 1,000 and 1,500 and 200 bps per second. The HART protocol is also fully supported by custom I/O termination cards, by D5000 barriers, and by D6000 isolators. The use of an HART multiplexer offers different advantages, and it's necessary when the PLC DCS don't integrate the HART moves. The HART multiplexer can be integrated in an existing system where transmitters, module, are transparent, are connected. It supports the management of different standards from different manufacturers, also mixed, and through the board interface, the signals are collected and transmitted to a PC to be supervised. Thousands of signals can be managed in a single network, allowing a real-time communication of all connected equipment. While the sensor constantly transmits its analog measurement, the control unit can read and modify the local sensor setting. For example, the measuring range via HART overlapping the 420 milliamp signal and without interfering with it. The HART multiplexer is a device that is used to connect HART field device to asset management system. HART multiplexer enables online communication between the operating and maintenance console and HART field device using the OpenHART protocol. The HART multiplexer acts as a gateway, routing communication between maintenance PC workstation and HART field devices. It queries each HART device, retrieves the information, and stores it in an internal database. This information is available for the device management tool, for example, Pactware. Being a single loop solution, the HART loop convert allows access to all process variables provided by a field device and transfer them to a conventional 420 milliamp loop. This makes it possible to use the hidden measurement data detected by many field devices and to transfer it to conventional DCS distributed control system. Well, Andrea, it's your turn to show the GMI HART solution.
Yes, thank you, Massimo. We do have a question now regarding especially the recording of this webinar, like the other that will be available on our YouTube channel. So anytime you can check it or let's say transfer and send to your colleagues as well. What is GMI HART solution? So we have here the C3 certified HART system multiplexer, and which is a module over there connected to the termination boards. The main advantage is that you can use a single multiplexer for 256 channels. When the market, basically you find a multiplexer for 32 signals. So this reduces the number of the cost for the application. It means also less components, less cables, less wiring, and simplified system. It's a really non-intrusive connection to process signal, so it's non-interfering, as Massimo said in the previous slides, non-interfering with safety loops. So is something very important that also the advantage of having also C3 multiplexer. And here we have a solution over the termination board, so you can we can have different termination boards. I would start from the one at the bottom on the left, which is the one you use. We will see how to use it. When you have let's say a system, and you will just to use the collect the HART without using any isolators or any interface. You are just to enter and going out with the signals. While on the, let's say, on the top right, you have the multiplexer, which is connected to a termination. Let me use it. The HART is connected to another termination board with some connectors, and those connectors are used to be integrated where you use also the isolators with other termination. So in this case, you want to use, you want to isolate it because maybe there are IS signal, hazardous area signals, or maybe you will just isolate it from, let's say, keeping away any ground loop effects. And those isolators are connected to this termination board, and this via cable is connected to the termination boards on the right. So this is basically the solution we have. Okay, and this how to use it. Okay, so basically here you have the solution with the transmitters. In this case, we have an example of 256 channels. Those transmitters are connected to the isolators in the termination board that we see previously, and the termination boards are connected to the HART multiplexer. What we want to highlight here is that the HART multiplex is one for 256 channels. It means that you need other termination board to connect with the other isolators or termination boards, because that is mechanically necessary, but the multiplex is just one. Okay, and you can, this in this case can be extended up to 4 because this is the needed in this case for 256 channels. But as the interface is a RS-485 Modbus, you can also have multiply this number of multiplexer nodes, having up to 63 nodes, different with the 63 multiplexer connected to just one HART management software. And this is the other application where you don't use isolator, but you just connect the transmitters to the termination boards in and out. And the architecture is the same. So you have up to, in this case, up to 8 for 256 channels, 8 termination boards, where you have just one HART multiplexer here for one node. The 63 is, of course, the numbers of nodes you can also, in this case, connect to just one HART management software. More than 16,000 channels can be connected in this architecture. Here we have a mixed solution of the previous two, where you have isolators connected and modules connected directly to the termination boards with the in-out connection. So you can mix it, of course, the two different solutions. We want to recap it. Yeah, so we have the first solution where you have the non-AS signal connected directly to the termination boards in and out. The second one is the IS signal connected with the isolators. Okay, in the array, you can also have this architecture. The second one, the third is the non-AS signal. In this case, the isolator are non-AS. Just simple isolator, not for hazardous areas. The fourth is the application with IS signal, but the user termination boards. And the fifth is the solution, the same, but for non-IS signal. So you can have a multiple application on your system, and you can decide what is necessary, of course. Now we have a poll, so maybe you can we can recap what is your typical application. If you want to answer, we'll leave you maybe a few seconds or minutes maximum. Just if you use non-IS signal interfacing, if you use non-IS signal interface with isolators, IS with isolators, or IS with isolator termination board. There are different possibilities, as we have seen. Of course, we have all solutions possible. We know a little bit the market, what is asked, of course, because we are selling this from a very long time, these solutions, and that, of course, customer different part of the world, and maybe we can have different application. Okay, maybe a few seconds more, and I will stop it. If you want to answer, I will stop it. Okay, let me close it now. Maybe we can also share the results, and what is the, so probably say most of you choose all, so all application, and of course most of you have choose a solution for IS with isolators and termination boards. So that is our, of course, say topic of today, basically, because IS isolator are mostly used in this case. Okay, let me close it, and we'll go on with the next chapter, and Massimo will take over the presentation.
Okay, Andrea. Well, the solution seen so far have been designed to meet all possible field conditions, from the implementation of HART in an existing system, or to the insertion of the HART system in a new installation, where barriers for intrinsically safe application or isolators for non-intrinsically application are foreseen on board of the termination unit. GMI's HART system is very flexible and adapts to all field needs. And a further proof of this is also the existence of the special HART termination boards that convert the 420 milliampere signal into a 1.5 volt signal to interface with the particular analog input card of the whole safety system. Let's now analyze how the HART multiplexer system was tested with different PLCs. The first solution tested is that which provides for the connection of the field sensor directly to the PLC through a termination board model TBED 5001 HRT004, on which the HART modem is mounted. It's necessary to say that the PLC with its analog card insert an impedance into the loop. To work properly, HART must see an overall loop impedance of at least 230 ohms. This means that if the PLC card does not insert a sufficient impedance to reach the necessary 230 ohm, the rest must be added by the other elements of the loop. In our case, GMI with its termination board meets these needs by mounting on board of the latter a special resistor size on the characteristic of the PLC card, necessary to reach the impedance useful for HART functionalities. The second solution foresees the integration of GMI HART system into application where intrinsic safe is involved. In this case, the HART MUX, through a special termination board, model TBE D5001 HRT003, equipped with special connector, connects to the system termination board where the intrinsically safe barriers are housed for the management of sensor positioned in the hazardous area. In addition, connection of the HART system is allowed to 8 or 16 position termination board for managing up to 32 channels for termination boards. A third solution has been tested very similar to the previous one, but in this case, we are going to manage applications that are not intrinsically safe. But afterward, the isolation of the field signal is provided through isolators. As we can see from the slide, the listed models related to the device that must now perform the isolation of the field sensor toward the PLC system of code change. But the system termination board models and the models for HART integration remain the same of the previous type of application.
Massimo, just one remark on this, just for our personal people. We have on the module side, there are different modules for passive and active sensors. This is a peculiarity. We want to also remind you that there are modules, most of the modules in the market that don't say transmit a HART over active sensor. So, but there is a slide on the Q&A. We want to say recap this point. Maybe we will be more clear. Please, Massimo, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Andre. Now let's see specifically the type of connection to be made in different solutions proposed. Let's start with the solution that use barriers or isolators mounted on the rail. In this case, we will use the model TBE D5001 HRT004 terminal block HART termination board. The aforementioned termination board is inserted in series with the 420 milliamp loop and is the ideal solution for implementing HART in existing loop. Well, Andrea, do you want to explain the next slide?
Yeah. This slide is, let's say, give you a better idea how you can integrate it in, say, the HART multiplexer in existing loops, where you have the in and output boards. This one. Okay, so the loops are here connected to these modules, and the loops go for 220 directly to your PLC. Just an example of PLC. And here the number of isolators can be in this case be group of probably 16 modules, and each group going to say 2 groups of these can go to 1 board. That's why in this case, if you have 8 groups of isolators, you can use 4 boards. If you have 16 groups of 16 isolators, you can have 8 boards. So that is a multiple of that. So you can have this kind of connection, and from the HART multiplexer, you have the connection directly to your PC, which is not related to your system. It's a completely independent PC where you have an HART management software. We will see what kind of software. Okay, Massimo.
Okay, thank you, Andre. The solution that involves the use of termination boards allow us to save considerably in terms of cabling. In fact, in the next slide, we will see the insert into the system termination board loop towards the PLC system. We will have the great advantage of being able to use a special cable that allow us to considerably reduce the connection to be made. With this type of connection, we will use a special termination board for the HART system, which in turn connects with the system termination board through flat cables that can manage up to 64 channels per board. In the slide, we will see an example when we use the termination board with on board a single channel device.
Yeah, in this case, you have 8 boards for the modules,
yeah.
and the 2 modules, 2 boards for the HART communication, or 16 boards and 4 boards. So the brackets are with brackets, and so it's completely different. We can use here also isolators, as Massimo said, single or dual channel. Yeah. So in this case, the example is for single channel, but if you can decide to use, and maybe you can also improve your overall cost by using dual channel isolators. Then you have different numbers to be considered, but in this case, of course, you can decide, say, project by project. Okay, Master, we do have a question on the right. We can want to answer.
Yes. I answered via chat to the question.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's say we have seen what we can do with for application DCS and PC. We have other slides in the Q&A later. Don't worry. So maybe it will be also more clear for you. Market comparison. We have a single slide for this, and we have seen that our multiplexer manages up to 256 channels. While others in the market are limited to 32. And the 32, every 32 you need a multiplexer, so maybe you have a master and a slave. In our architecture, we only use single multiplexers that can be considered masters, and for 256 channels. So the overall cost for application is considerably low. Of course, this will affect the refresh time for your data on your PC, but of course is something that is not critical in HART communication, in HART management. Some words about the software. So we have a lot of requirements about software. What we suggest, of course, is to use a Pactual software, which is the freeware software in the market. You can download it from our website, from the Pactual website, and is our multiplex is completely compatible. We do have other compatibility with ABB, with Yokogawa and Sandhouse. We are doing others now, and it will be announced. So we are implementing this multiplex with other software that are, say, also used in the market. But what is software we are using? Maybe you can answer here, so it will be also important for us understanding what is your requirement, what is your general application. If it's Pactual, if it's AMS from Emerson, FDM, Honeywell, FieldMate, Yokogawa, ABB, Ability, or other. Or if you don't have it, don't worry. Okay, thank you for your answer. I see that Pactual is quite a lot used from you. Okay, no more answer. Let me stop it. Okay. I want to share with you also this point, which is also interesting. So Pactual is a winner, but there is AMS, very important, FDM, Honeywell also, FieldMate, Ability. Other are only 8 of this group. Okay, we reached the end of this presentation. All information are available on our website, but we want to also go to the say, the new presentation, the other for the question. Okay.
Yes, we see now at presentation let's see, what are the typical questions we are asked on the art topic.
Okay. So one question is, Massimo, you can go.
The first question typically is, do all isolators support HART protocol transmission? Well, we can say that not all isolators or barriers for intrinsically safe application are compatible with the HART protocol. In order for a device to pass through the HART signal, the control system must have well-defined technical characteristic. Many devices filter the HART signal and do not let it pass through the system. For this reason, it's necessary to select isolator devices or barriers that do not interfere with the HART signal, placing filters between the sensor and the safety system.
Yeah, the barriers isolator are for 4 to 20 milliamp per signal, but
yes,
if a HART is specified, the modules will transfer HART. Otherwise, will be cutted because there is a complete isolation between input and output, basically, on the modules.
yes.
Okay, so other question is the HART protocol supported by 2-wire transmitter also for the 3-4 wire? That is another questions, and here we have an example where you have isolators with, in this case, for the first in the first picture, you see that for the 2-wire. So the 2-wire means passive transmitters that are powered through the modules in this case, and the HART is retransmitted on the output. You see also on the output side that the HART is over there. There are other modules. Okay, but in this case, this module from us is not, if you look at here, external powered, the HART is not retransmitted. So that is well specified on the manual, basically. That's why we develop a new unit that is supporting the HART protocol when the modules or when the transmitter is already powered by an external source. So in this case, the loop is active, and in this case, this unit transfer the HART protocol also for this kind of transmitters. So if you have passive transmitters, you use these modules. If you have active transmitter, use these modules. Maybe we can be more, say, clear, or you can look at the manuals for having more details. There are other units that also power the transmitters, so not only get the signal active, but also are able to power the transmitters, and so power and receiving the signal. This is a unit used for non-AES applications, so it's only for safer application because the power in this case is higher than the allowed for hazardous area. Massimo, you want to talk about this?
Yes, okay. Another question typical is duplication of HART signal. Also with regard to devices useful for signal redundancy, such as signal duplicators or splitters, it's possible to obtain compatibility with the HART protocol. GMI offers solutions that allow splitting the HART signal to both outputs of a duplicator device. GMI developed a device that duplicates the 420 milliamp signals as well as the HART signals. This device as particularly useful in application where system redundancy is required.
So duplication, duplicator are quite used in the market for sending the signal to two different places, to different analog input card, or maybe output also.
Or to split the signal that goes to the safety system and another versus the DCS or
yeah. And probably the signal has to be with the HART in both cases, yeah. But yes. In some cases you have just one channel transferring HART, but this module transfer on both channel the HART. Massimo, we do have a question live to answer or not?
Yes, we have two questions from our attendees. The first one is, are the C-rated HART multiplexer are needed in safety function? Well, in my opinion, all the elements that make up a functional safety loop must be seal classified. This, in case you inserted an HART multiplexer in your loop, in my opinion, the HART multiplexer must be seal certified.
Yeah. Yes. And also, seal certification is granting that the unit is not interfering with the safety loops.
Yeah.
Support, another question, support for packed software. Okay, maybe we can write to this because it's out of a little bit our scope of today. We can write the question to this attendees. Okay, so other question, how many multiplexers do I need? And as we have seen, GMI multiplexer, we can grant the use of just one unit up to 256 channels. So if you extend this number, you multiply by the numbers of multiplexers. But in the system you may find in the market, there are, let's say, for 32 you need a multiplexer, for 64 you need probably 4 in this case, for 128 you need 8. So the considerable number of multiplex is important here for the competition. Here we can assure one multiplexer per 256 channels. As I told you,
compared to the competition, the GMI multiplexer system gives the possibility to manage many more channels beyond 16,000 with the network of 63 HART models connected on the same RS485 line with the use of fewer devices. This is thanks to the fact that the GMI multiplexer system does not need to use a slave device for its functionality. In fact, what for the competition is a fundamental device is integrated into the HART termination board in the GMI system and is therefore managed channel by channel. This allows us to have a more flexible system with fewer devices involved in signal management and therefore with great saving in terms of engineering cost.
Okay, thank you, Massimo. No question, further question. We do have other slides. Typical solution example.
Yes. In the slide, we see some example of application where the HART multiplexer is involved. Direct interfacing of 64 signals coming from the field, managed by 2 termination boards connected in daisy chain to each other with a single HART modem for channel scanning. The 2 termination boards are connected to each other through a special 10-pole flat cable, and this solution can be expanded up to the achievement of the direct management of 256 channels by a single ART modem, increasing the termination more connected to each other in a daisy chain. And the system can be extended by inserting isolator or intrinsically safe barriers mounted on a DIN rail or on termination board in the loop, which then connect directly to the safety system through a dedicated system cable. As the slide show, let's see how the insertion of barrier or isolator and termination board change the loop. Do you want to add something on this topic, Andrea?
Just an example for our customers. So it's, yeah, also here, the example is only for single channel isolators.
Yeah. Yes.
And for the dual channel, the architecture is a little bit different, and also the modules are different, but you can easily use single dual channel, and because our termination board can support both. Okay, and so how fast HART is? It's not fast, of course. It's not fast. It's a slow protocol, and the fresh time is about 500 milliseconds per signal. But the most important thing is that the loops, safety loop, will be not affected. You have just you collect the data on your PCs where there is a software, and the software is just for say maintenance purpose, monitoring purpose, and nothing else. But it's not fast, of course, the protocol. You can increase, of course, the refresh time, overall refresh time, by using more multiplex on the same network, if you like. That is, of course, possible. Massimo?
Okay, Andrea. Compatibility with different field devices. GMI's HART MUX managed device for HART compatible analog input and analog output application up to HART revision 7. Through HART, it's possible to carry different types of field device that can provide information related to the first variable, which typically can be a pressure or temperature, or to sub-variables such as current or other information related to the field device. Well, Andrea, I think we have finished our presentation.
We close. If you don't have further questions, we can close it. We remind you that our live webinars are available on our website. You can be connected. If you follow, of course, the GMI LinkedIn profile, you will see, you will know what will happen. Also, we have another webinar next week for EX applications. I repeat once again, YouTube channel, GMI, where all webinars are stored, have been stored. Also, this one will be stored in the next hours. So the video can be viewed, shared, and liked, of course, if you like these things. We want to also ask you to answer to the last poll regarding our this webinar. Of course, your name won't appear, so you will be free to write what you like, if you like it or not. Of course, that is also the aim of this webinar. We want to improve our presence, and if we have something that can be made better in the future, we will do. That is very, very important for us. Thank you for answering. Let me close it. I don't see further things. Okay, thank you. Still people writing. If you just push it, and we go out quickly, and we leave you to your activities, which is very, very important. Okay, let me close it, and thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you from us, from
Thank you also from my side.
Thank you. We remind you our
Thank you very
names,
much.
our emails, and our face if you want to write us for further questions. And once again, thank you very much and keep in touch for the next webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Ciao, Marcelo.
Ciao, Andrea.